Hi, this is the first class of FRM. So the students who have started studying or who are just about to start studying and all, you need to do this lecture. This is the first class. There is no demo lecture or anything of that sort. This is the first class. You need to do this in order to have a clear idea as to how to go about with the preparation, with the curriculum, with the syllabus, with the material, everything. And then we will start with the first chapter, quants, etc. Right? So the first thing is we're going to be covering is the syllabus part. It is very important to understand the syllabus, because when a student starts studying one particular chapter and he does not know how it fits into the entire curriculum, you're not able to connect with the curriculum. So it becomes very important that you understand the syllabus. We're going to discuss every single chapter in detail as to what the entire curriculum, the syllabus is all about. Again, I have questions from students like, whether I need to be really good at maths or something. So there are different chapters, different subjects and all. Commerce students might find a couple of chapters easy. Science students or engineering students might find a couple of chapters easy. Economics students might find a couple of chapters easy. But everything is taken from scratch, so that is not going to be a question. Of course, a student not good at maths will have to work hard on a few chapters maybe related to statistics. We start everything from scratch anyway, so that is not going to be a problem. An engineering student might have to learn terms like interest rate going up, monetary policy, fiscal policy. Monetary policy is all that the RBI is doing. Fiscal policy is all that the government does in terms of taxation, etc. So that could be certain terms and all coming up, which will not be a problem. So it's just that finance is not about commerce. So finance is a separate domain and subject altogether, and that too where we are specializing in the risk management area. So it is not just about financial institutions or just stock market. It is to do with banks, financial institutions, and also when you're looking at companies, for example, an aviation company also has a challenge with respect to the oil prices, because that's a major input price for them. Say for example, an oil and gas company, or even the kind of data security issues and operational issues the IT companies are facing. So risk becomes a very important function across organizations and all. Of course, the detailing or the importance would be towards the financial institutions, banking, financial institutions, stocks, hedge funds, iBanking, etc. All those domains will be obviously more focused over here. The second part we are going to discuss is the next part of the lecture is going to be your exam structure and results. So ideally there are two levels in FRM. The first level 100 MCQs in a 4-hour paper. Second level is going to be an 80 MCQ in a 4-hour paper, again 80 MCQs. There is no negative marking, and obviously more details about the curriculum will be discussed. There are no direct questions. You have to be very, very thorough with your concepts and all. And how is the result done? So the pass rate of, let's say, part 1 is going to be around 40-42% or so. Part 2 is going to be somewhere close to 50-52% or so. So, and how is the result being evaluated? How are the results provided? A sample of the result, how the result looks like and everything, and what is required to pass and all. So that is what we are discussing in the exam structure and results lecture. The next is the registration with the institute part. So the total course fee is going to be around $1,500, which translates to about 1,20,000 rupees or so. And with respect to the institute, obviously the institute is situated in the USA, but you're not supposed to be traveling to the US. So the exams are conducted worldwide, and you will be able to use the designation against your name, with your name across the world. So it's a global designation, and all the students across the world are going to be tested on the same curriculum, same exam, etc. The next part is when to begin preparation. That is particularly a very frequent question that I get, especially from the working professionals and all. So we've discussed in terms of, on an average, it would be about 6 months or so, if I just have to give a single number answer to you. But otherwise, I've discussed in detail as to what your situation could be with respect to your college or your working hours, etc., and the duration it is going to take and everything. And I've discussed this in the lecture, when to begin preparation. So how much time you're going to take in order to study. The next part is where to study from. That basically becomes a little confusing in terms of, because there is so much of resources available and you cannot do everything, and you cannot study from 10 different places because you'll get confused. So where to study from, how much practice is required, where to practice from, what is the standard of practice from different sources of material, and what is the standard required in the exam because of the questions, the kind of questions that turn up in the exam. So that we are going to discuss in the where to study lecture. The next lecture we are going to be covering is how to study for the exam, because when you're looking at professional exams, you have to have a certain level of EQ as well along with your IQ in order to take the exam. There's a lot of hard work, discipline and all required. You cannot be very casual about taking these exams, because one, you have enroll for the exam, paid for the exam, you have to study for the exam, and ultimately see there is a 42% pass rate, for example. In a chartered accountancy, let's say the pass rate would be around 10%, let's say. So out of 100 students, 10 students will pass, 90 will not pass. So having the correct approach to studying and being very serious about that is going to be important. So what is the approach, how you're supposed to be studying, practicing, etc., we discuss in this lecture. The next part is the scope. So as to understand what would be the application of an FRM in the industry, in the economy, if I could say so. So CFA is like, for example, a course in finance. FRM is finance and specialization in risk management domain. CA has got accounts, law, audit, etc. So there are different lectures where I've discussed the differences between these courses, or should an MBA or an engineering student should take up a CFA or a FRM or something or not. So there is another lecture there. How is it going to be relevant if maybe you have a business related to stock markets or something, or if you're doing a business wherein, foreign exchange, import export business, where the foreign exchange transactions become important, and how to hedge the risk and all. So that is there. Then risk with respect to raw materials, etc., there in certain commodity driven businesses and all. So those things we cover in the scope part, and basically what kind of job roles, descriptions, etc. we have. And of course a degree gets you to the interview table, or validates that you have so and so knowledge about the subject. But again, along with that, you would need your skills, your technical skills, Excel, presentation, communication, writing skills, and also obviously those things are important as well. So all those things we're going to be discussing in the scope lecture. And the next lecture is going to be about the lectures, so about my way of teaching and how I go about it. And you have a few chapters on YouTube as well, so you can go through that to understand my way of teaching and all, and what are included with how to go about the lectures. We've got exam mentoring lectures are there, revision lectures are there, so all the things about with respect to the classes and your doubt solving and all that. So that is going to be covered in this lecture. So you're going to be starting with the syllabus lecture next, and you move forward and complete the series of lectures, and this is your first class. This entire lectures, these lectures are basically your first class before you start studying, so as to have a very clear idea as to how to move forward. So you need a good direction, as in you need a good clear direction and all. So be very firm, be very decisive, understand, have all the information, and then you start studying properly. And this is required for studying. So you have to have very clear targets, how to set your targets and all with respect to preparation also. This becomes very important. So this is, so start with the syllabus right away. All right.